You didn't mean to, but you became a mirror. Not the kind that flatters. The kind that reveals. And now there's someone out there, a man you never expected, who's seeing himself through your presence. And it's shaking him in ways even he doesn't understand. The angels whispered that this connection wasn't random. That somehow, just by being exactly who you are, you reflected back to him a truth he spent years avoiding. He saw his own tenderness when you chose kindness over judgment. He saw his own fears when your silence held more wisdom than his words. He saw what love could be when you walked away instead of shrinking to fit inside his world. And now? He can't unsee it. Dear soul, this isn't just a love story. It's a soul awakening. The angels are showing me a scene, a man sitting alone in a room, holding a photo, or maybe just a memory of your laugh. He keeps replaying the things he never said. The way your eyes looked at him, not with need, but with knowing. Because somewhere inside, he knew you saw him. Not the version he polished for the world, but the raw, unfinished, still learning man he was scared to admit he still is. And you didn't flinch. In a world where most people avoid their own truths, you stood there, light pouring from your being, and you held space for his shadow without judgment. That's why he backed away. Not because he didn't care, but because he cared too much and didn't feel ready. But something's changing. There's an ache in him now. A longing. A restlessness. Because no matter how far he runs from the reflection he saw in your eyes, he knows that was the truest version of himself he's ever met. And it was you who showed him. You didn't just enter his life, you rerouted it. You didn't just make an impression, you cracked open something sacred. And that scares him. Because for the first time, he's not chasing pleasure or control or safety. He's chasing the truth. And that truth, dear soul, looks a lot like you. The angels say, get ready. Not for a grand confession or a dramatic apology like you'd see in a movie, but for signs, real, quiet, trembling steps of a man trying to find his way back to what's real. He may test the waters. He may act casual. He may stumble over every word. But underneath it all, he's asking, is it too late for you to still see me? And the choice, beautiful soul, will be yours. Will you open the door again? Will you remind him that love was never about perfection, but about presence? Will you trust that the reflection he saw in your eyes was real? Let your answer come from love, not fear. And if this message stirred something in you, if your heart is whispering, this is about me, then I invite you to take the next step. Pause. Breathe. Now scroll down and write, I welcome clarity. I trust divine timing. Because when you do, you're not just claiming a man. You're claiming your power to reflect truth, to hold sacred space, and to walk in a love that transforms, not just others but yourself. Your angels are right here, guiding every step. And the journey? It's just beginning. He hasn't told anyone. Not yet. But the way he talks to himself when no one is listening? The angels hear it. In the silence of his morning routine, in the way he stares too long at a song lyric that reminds him of you, in the pauses where his heart aches more than his pride can hide, he's speaking of you soul to soul. And it's not just about desire anymore. It's about recognition. Because something in you awakened a memory in him. Not of a past life, but of the life he could have. A version of himself that finally feels enough, because you saw value in places he always tried to conceal. He doesn't know how to explain it. He doesn't have the words. But that hasn't stopped the transformation from happening. The more he avoids, the stronger it gets. He's starting to lose interest in the things that used to distract him. the meaningless conversations, the temporary highs, the roles he used to play so well. They no longer satisfy him, not since you reflected back his truth. And now, his soul is craving something real. And that craving has a shape. It has a voice. It has your eyes. Dear soul, the angels are saying that his hesitation isn't rejection, it's reverence. He doesn't want to show up broken or uncertain. He wants to arrive whole. He wants to meet you on sacred ground, not in the shadows of fear. But here's what the divine wants him to understand, and what you need to hear too. Healing doesn't have to be done before love. Sometimes, love is the healing. Sometimes, two people meet not because they're ready, but because they're meant to help each other get there. And you? You are that invitation. To stop performing. To stop hiding. To stop running from the mirror you've become. That's why your energy lingers with him. Why certain memories refuse to fade. Why, even in crowded rooms, there's a space carved in his heart that only your name echoes through. You didn't ask for this role, but you accepted it the moment you chose to love without conditions. You didn't beg to be his epiphany, but your light illuminated what his eyes had forgotten how to see. And now, he's remembering. Slowly, painfully, beautifully. This is where the angels ask you something. Can you hold space without losing yourself? Can you be the mirror without absorbing his reflection? Can you love from abundance, not emptiness? Because if you can, this story isn't over. It's just unfolding. He may reach out in unexpected ways. A message that feels simple but carries weight. A question masked in humor but rooted in longing. A visit wrapped in excuses but driven by need. Watch closely. Listen deeply. You've felt it, haven't you? That something shifted between you and him, even if no one said anything, even if nothing happened on the outside. It's as if your soul picked up on a frequency that your mind is still trying to understand. And deep down, you know something in him changed because of you. He may not say it. He may not show it the way you wish he would. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. He's thinking. He's remembering. He's feeling, more than he expected, more than he wants to admit, maybe even more than he's ready for. And you? You've already left your mark. Without trying to be anyone else. Without doing anything to convince him. Just by being fully present, fully you. You made him see something real. Something he hadn't looked at in a long time. And even if he tries to go back to who he was before you, something in him resists. Because once someone experiences authenticity, everything else feels off. Now, this is where it gets real. You don't need to sit around wondering what he'll do. You don't need to shrink yourself, overthink, or wait for signs. Because this isn't about waiting. It's about knowing. Knowing who you are. Knowing what you bring. Knowing the difference you've made. And yes, it's okay to want more. It's okay to want clarity, words, presence, action. But don't let that want pull you away from the truth you already carry. He felt it. Even if he plays it cool. Even if he avoids it. Even if he's quiet. That silence? It's full. It's full of thoughts he doesn't know how to put into words. It's full of emotions that caught him off guard. It's full of the memory of you, and how you made him feel something that scared him in the best way possible. And let's be honest, most people aren't used to being seen like that. Most people aren't used to being known without being judged. But you saw him. Not the version he shows the world. Not the one who's always in control, always composed. You saw through all that. You saw him raw, uncertain, maybe even a little messy. And you didn't look away. That stays with someone. So if you're sitting there wondering if you mattered, if he noticed, if he cared, let me be clear. He noticed. He cared. You mattered. You still do. You might not have gotten the response you hoped for. You might feel like it's all one-sided. But the truth is, he's still processing. Because love, when it's genuine, doesn't always come neatly packaged. Sometimes it filters in through the cracks. Sometimes it brings to light everything that's been hidden. And when that happens, not everyone knows how to handle it. But the impact? That's already in motion. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to chase him down emotionally. He's the one figuring out what to do with what he felt when he looked into your eyes and saw something he wasn't ready to confront, himself. So now, it's not about him anymore. It's about you. How are you showing up for yourself? Are you choosing your own peace? Are you staying true to what you know, even when it feels confusing? Are you remembering that just because someone doesn't provide the answer you wanted, doesn't mean the connection wasn't real? This is your moment to stop waiting for external validation and start trusting your internal wisdom. You've already done something most people never dare to do. You showed up in love with your authentic self. No games. No pretense. No holding back. And that energy? It's still with him. Still unfolding. Still working through his heart. So don't question your impact. You didn't lose anything by loving sincerely. You gained clarity. You gained strength. You gained a deeper connection to your truth. And from that place, anything you choose next will be rooted in power, not need. So yes, he's awakening. And maybe he'll reach out. Maybe he won't. But either way, you're not stuck in place. You're moving. You're growing. You're becoming more of who you are meant to be. And the right love, the one that truly sees you, will recognize that. It will feel that. And it won't hesitate. Until then, keep moving forward. Not with doubt, but with quiet confidence. With a softness that doesn't break. With clarity that doesn't demand. Let your energy speak louder than your words. Let your actions speak louder than your hopes. And if your heart needs something to hold on to right now, let it be this. You don't need to wait for someone to show up to prove your worth. You've already proven it, by how you've loved, how you've stood your ground, and how you've kept your heart open even when it hurt. That's strength. That's beauty. That's love. And that kind of love? It doesn't go unnoticed. So if this message resonates with you, if it feels like I'm describing something you've experienced, say it. Own it. Type below, I'm not waiting. I'm walking. I'm ready. Because you are. And everything that is meant for you? It's already moving in your direction. Stay open. Stay centered. And remember, you are the one they won't forget. Somewhere between the life he thought he wanted and the man he's becoming, there is you. Not just a chapter, but the turning point. You with your quiet strength and wild softness. You with the way you see through his walls but never try to break them down. You wait, with presence. With patience. With power. That's what unsettled him. That's what woke him up. You weren't chasing. You were remembering. And in your remembering, he began to remember too, who he was before the world taught him to hide. Who he was before the heartbreaks, the performances, the numbing. You reminded him what home feels like, not a place, but a presence. He's not ready to say it out loud yet. But the angels are showing me the thoughts that circle his mind at night when the world gets quiet. What if she was always the one? What if I messed up? What if it's not too late? There's movement happening right now. Within him. Around him. Synchronicities, dreams, unexpected feelings. These are the signs that the veil is lifting, that divine timing is falling into place. But here's the truth no one tells you about awakenings. They don't happen all at once. They come in waves. He'll take a step forward, then pull back. He'll admit his feelings, then doubt himself. He'll look at you like you're everything, then act like he's fine without you. Don't take it personally. Take it spiritually. This isn't about your worth, it's about his journey. The angels are asking you to ground yourself. Not in what he does next, but in who you are. Because when you stop dimming your light to make someone else comfortable, that's when they begin to see clearly. That's when you become undeniable. And if he's meant to step into the version of himself that can love you fully, he will. But if not, you'll still be moving forward, whole, radiant, and profoundly magnetic to the love your soul is ready for. Either way, you win. Because either way, you chose yourself. And nothing is more powerful than a woman who knows her own light. The angels say he's thinking about reaching out. Testing the waters. Hoping for a sign that the door is still open. But you don't need to wait for that moment to reclaim your power. You are the moment. So if your heart is ready, if your spirit is steady, type below. I am the turning point. I am love embodied. I am ready for divine union. And know this. He may not have been ready to face his reflection. But he's about to realize that by losing you, he'd lose the only truth that ever made him feel seen. And that's what brings him back. Not just to you but to himself. You were the mirror, yes. But now, you are the lighthouse. Stay radiant. Stay rooted. Stay open to the miracles on their way. The angels show me a scene that keeps replaying in his mind. It's not dramatic. Not loud. It's ordinary, a moment you might have forgotten. You laughing at something silly. You looking at him, not to impress, but to understand. You simply being, unaware of how deeply that being impacted him. He replays that moment because in it, he felt something he's been chasing his whole life, peace. And that's the irony. He thought love was supposed to be exciting, chaotic, full of highs and heartbreaks. But you made love feel safe. You made it feel like home. And that scared him. Because what if he wasn't ready to live in that peace? What if he didn't know how? But now, the contrast is too loud to ignore. Other connections feel empty. Other faces blur. And in the quiet of his life, your voice, the one that never needed to shout, echoes with truth. He's beginning to see that the very reflection he once ran from was the roadmap back to himself. And while he may still wrestle with pride, uncertainty, or timing, what the angels are making clear is this. His soul has already chosen you. What remains is the journey of his mind catching up. And for you, dear soul, the question becomes, can you love someone's becoming without abandoning your own? Because this isn't just about romance. This is about remembrance. You were sent into his life not to rescue, fix, or wait, but to mirror. And in doing so, you created a ripple that no amount of silence can erase. Even if he never says the words, even if he never knocks on your door again, the truth remains. You were the turning point. The axis his heart began to spin around. The reflection that stripped away illusion. The sacred interruption. Now, Take a breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Let go of outcomes. Release the need to know when, how, or if. And instead, remember who you are. Because that version of you, the one who loved with depth, who saw with clarity, who gave from soul, is the version that attracts not just his awakening but your own. The angels are smiling now. They say you've crossed a sacred threshold. Not because he returned, but because you did. You returned to your truth, to your worth, to your divine alignment. And from this place, all things are possible. So one last time, if your soul knows these words were meant for you, if you felt this awakening stirring not just in him, but within yourself, declare it. I no longer wait. I no longer chase. I attract what is mine by divine right. The mirror you became is now a doorway. Step through. And don't be surprised if he's standing on the other side ready. Not just to love you, but to face himself. The angels will guide him. Trust that they'll guide you too. What's meant to be cannot be lost. And the reflection he wasn't ready to face has become the truth he can no longer deny.